Welcome to this explainer. Look, today we are going to take advanced pronoun rules and completely flip the script. We're transforming them from these rigid, boring mandates into a highly practical, evolving toolkit. If you've ever felt totally overwhelmed by grammar rules, you are absolutely in the right place. By the end of this, you'll be empowered to build sharper, more sophisticated, and incredibly clear sentences. Let's get into it.
You know that feeling when you just freeze mid-sentence? You're terrified of making a mistake, agonizing over whether you should use who or whom. Or maybe you've stared at a paragraph, totally stumped about where a comma actually belongs when you're adding a detail. Hey, it happens to the best of us, literally even native speakers. But here's the thing, grammar isn't just about avoiding errors, right? It's about precision. It's about being understood exactly how you intend.
Section 1, the Sentence Building Toolkit. Let's look at our essential connectors.
Okay, so we have these 5 relative pronouns: who, whom, whose, which, and that. These are the core of our toolkit. Think of them like structural bridges. Their whole job is to connect a dependent clause to an independent clause. And by doing this, they let you expertly describe a noun without having to chop up your flow and start a completely new sentence. They are essentially your secret weapon for making your ideas flow seamlessly.
Moving on to Section 2, Clauses, and the Great Comma Dilemma.
Now, with these shiny new tools comes a bit of nuance, specifically deciding when you actually need to use commas. Take the first example here. The book that I borrowed is excellent. Notice we use that without any commas. Why? Because pinpointing the specific book is absolutely essential to the meaning of the sentence. If you drop that I borrowed, we have no clue which book you're talking about. Now compare that to the second sentence. My car, which is 10 years old, still runs perfectly. Here we use which flanked by commas. The age of the car? It's just extra, non-essential flavor. If you strip it out, my car still runs perfectly, still makes total sense.
So, the big takeaway here is that understanding whether your information is absolutely essential or just a fun little bonus dictates your comma usage entirely. If your sentence literally needs the detail to survive, restrict it. No commas. If it's just a nice extra detail, set it apart with commas. It's a surprisingly simple rule, but it will instantly elevate your writing.
Section 3, the ultimate battle, who versus whom.
Oh man, this is the grammar boss battle that trips up practically everyone. The entire distinction just comes down to the role the word is playing. Who acts as a subject pronoun? It's the one out there actively doing the action, functioning exactly like he, she, or they. On the flip side, whom is an object pronoun. It's just sitting there on the receiving end of an action or following a preposition, functioning just like him, her, or them.
To put that into perspective, let's look at these 2 examples. In the first one, who is at the door, who is performing the action of being at the door. It's the subject. Boom. In the second example, with whom are you going to the dance, whom is the object. It comes right after the preposition with.
Okay, but what if you're still stuck? Well, here is your absolute secret weapon to defeat this battle every single time. Rephrase the sentence and try to answer it with he or him. If he works, you use who. But if you can answer your question with him, you use whom. And the reason why is so brilliantly simple. They both share that ending letter M. Him goes with whom. It's a foolproof matching trick that works like a charm.
Section 4, evolving rules and the singular they.
Right. So before we talk about how language is evolving, we need to know the baseline. The foundational rule of agreement states that your pronoun has to perfectly match the noun it replaces in both number and gender. Singular noun means singular pronoun. Plural noun means plural pronoun. Pretty straightforward, right?
But here's the catch. What do you do when the gender of a singular noun is completely unknown? Historically, grammar purists dug their heels in and insisted on the older phrasing, if a student is late, he or she must go to the office. Sure, it's structurally sound, but let's be honest, it is incredibly clunky to write and speak. Modern grammar, thankfully, fully embraces the much smoother alternative using the singular they. If a student is late, they must go to the office. It just sounds better.
And here is what's really fascinating about this shift. This isn't just some casual internet slang thing. The singular they is officially recognized. The most prestigious academic and professional style guides in the world, we're talking APA, MLA, the Chicago Manual of Style, they all back this up. Not only do they accept the singular they actively prefer it. It is hands down the best tool for clarity and flow.
Section 5, Tricky Traps, dealing with or and nor.
Let's disarm one last trap together. When you have a sentence where two nouns are joined by the word or nor, which one gets to dictate the pronoun? Well, the answer is the proximity rule. You simply make your pronoun agree with whichever noun is physically closer to it in the sentence. That's it.
Check out this example to see it in action. Neither the manager nor the employees brought their laptops. We've got a singular manager and plural employees. Because the plural word employees is sitting right next to the pronoun, proximity dictates that we use the plural pronoun there.
But watch what happens if we literally just flip the sentence structure around. Neither the employees nor the manager brought his laptop. See that? Because the singular word manager is now physically closer to the end of the clause, our tool shifts perfectly to the singular pronoun his. The whole rule relies entirely on proximity. Once you visualize it, it's actually surprisingly easy to remember.
So wrapping up this explainer, I've got to ask you a question to ponder. Are you using grammar rules just to be perfect, or are you using them to be perfectly understood? Remember, these advanced tools we went over today, from relative pronouns and commas to the singular they and the proximity rule, they aren't here to make you sound stuffy, and they certainly aren't here to catch you making a mistake. They exist to help you construct ideas that are precise, modern, and brilliantly clear. Keep this toolkit handy, and trust me, your sentences will never hold you back again.